So what's the process on getting it approved? Do you have to get the idea of restoring the connection approved first, or do you have to get the method by which it's restored approved in order to get?
Not sure I understand the question, but I'll try to answer. I'll try to answer what I think.
Is it a bill that says, "Hey, who votes to restore the pass?
So
raise your hand. Good, go." Yeah. Or is it, "Hey, I have to have a proposed idea on how much it's going to cost before we vote on it"?
Does the ability to open the pass depend on the method that they end up using, chosen by the engineers and scientists?
Only because one of the things
the drawing.
Because some of the things you have to consider when you're considering this are things like, you know, not only fish migration but turtle migration, turtle nests, you know, seagrass. How much is there? How much do you have to dig up to do the pass?
So is this the kind of situation like when they build those oil pipelines out west and they find like one, you know, red-footed spotted duck, you know, that happens to be near there, so everything must stop, and you know?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that, because I don't know that. Certainly on the land bridge that has been artificially created by man between Siesta Key and Casey Key, you will find a turtle nest or two during mating season, but I don't think that you're going to disrupt the turtle migration process by restoring the tidal connection. So I was trying to think of what your other question was, but
you answered it. I think the
so to answer your question, the first thing, the county has to apply for permits, which includes putting forth some level of a plan of the way they think it would have to happen. That then starts the conversation with DEP. And then you have to get involved with things like the Army Corps of Engineers and an organization that probably nobody's ever heard of, maybe in this room, or maybe certainly not your listeners.
Well, because of Katrina,
the West Coast Navigational Intercoastal District, right?
Okay,
and so
it's a mouthful.
WCIND. I might have mixed up a couple of those words, but it's WCIND, and West Coast Intercoastal Navigational District. So they're the ones who take care of the buoys and things out in the channel. So you have a lot of these state, federal organizations that have to come together, and the first step is the county applying for the permits with some level of a plan of what they want to do. Does that mean that would be the plan that ends up being the final version?
Probably
almost
not.
Surely not.
Right.
Because it will have to be.
They will have to have a plan in place to apply.
They'll have to, the ultimate plan will be determined through all those organizations coming to the table and saying what's right. You know, make sure we're doing the right thing for the Fish and Wildlife Commission. We'll make sure we're doing the right thing for the Army Corps of Engineers. Doing the right thing for the Sarasota Bay Estuary Program, the WCIND. You could list probably a dozen.
So what you're getting at is all the various bureaucracies need to be satisfied, and that would probably explain why they hired you.
Well, thank you.
Thank God those
and
bureaucracies
so we're probably
exist.
So if you want to put a timeline on it, where it's probably a 4 to 5 year process if we're able to, get it moving and keep it moving.